So I now welcome to the stage our Commissioner, Reverend Viviana DeCohen, to give us a few words of welcome. Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning. Buenos dias a todas. It is my privilege to welcome you today as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. This is a special time to honor the heroes whose courage, sacrifice, and service have strengthened every chapter of our nation's history. As United States Marine and Commissioner of the New York State Department of Veterans Services, I have witnessed firsthand every mission, every act of service. I saw what this month affirms. Hispanic and Latin Americans have always been at the heart of Americans' nation's defense. The title of today's program, We Were Always There, is not poetic license. It is historical fact. Hispanic and Latin service members have stood watch, fought bravely, and returned home to keep serving in our communities today. They did not wait to be invited into America's story. They helped write it. At our department, we carry forward the legacy each and every day. Through Operation Find and Serve, we reach veterans in the spaces and places where they live, work, and play. Barbershops, parks, churches, community centers, and campuses. This is how we honor the promise of all who have served, not waiting for veterans to help find us, but finding them first and ensuring they are all seen, all heard, valued, and supported through dignity services. That is our charge, and that is our calling. Today, I would like to thank Dr. Lessie Branch, our brilliant special assistant for community engagement, for moderating today's program. She really is our favorite moderator, for creating the micro documentary, and for her unwavering commitment to inclusion, empowerment, and injustice. And I extend my gratitude to Joelle Evans, our excelente Executive Deputy Commissioner, whose leadership and partnership continues to move our department forward with purpose and compassion, as well as all of our guest speakers, our DVS team members, and attendees. Muchas gracias, and enjoy.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. We will now call to the stage our Executive Deputy Commissioner, Joelle Evans, to give us welcome remarks. Sir.
Good morning. I want to thank Dr. Lessie Branch for organizing and moderating this program. Thank you to all the great speakers we have today. And thank you to Commissioner Viviana DeCohen for being such an exceptional leader. I also want to acknowledge all who served in the military. Thank you for your service. And now in Spanish. Quiero agradecer a la doctora Lessie Branch por organizar y moderar este programa. Gracias a todos los excelentes oradores que tenemos hoy. Gracias a la comisionada Viviana DeCohen por ser una líder tan excepcional. Y también quiero reconocer a todos los que sirvieron en las ramas militares de los Estados Unidos. Gracias por su servicio. The rest will be in English. As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with this program titled, We Were Always There, it made me reflect of how many of us were there, but were overlooked while being there because we were different. We could see through the history of the Hispanic veterans that many may have been overlooked, but many made a lasting mark to what defines now our military. You may have felt you were overlooked, but were you? I look at the service of my grandfather, my father, my uncle, and other relatives. They served during difficult times, not speaking the language, looking different than others, and even with different type of behavioral styles. Still, many other Hispanics like them paved the way for us. I was there, you were there. We raised our right hand, got on the bus, got woken up at old dark 30, ate food that we had never heard of before, graduated from boot camp, was taught a trade, and so on. But our story goes beyond that. I am proud to have served in the Navy, which just celebrated its 250th birthday yesterday. And during my naval service, I worked on torpedoes, doing everything that needed to be done to get them ready for the submarines. I participated in combat operations during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and ended my career recruiting, finding others to serve. In between, there are so many different duties and operations that it would be too long to give all that information today. It wasn't easy, it was challenging, it took hard work and a lot of dedication. I say to you, don't let your story of your military career fade away. Be proud of your accomplishments. Share your story with others and let them know that you were there. Let them know that you made a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chief, I appreciate you. All right, and so now I'm going to ask Joshua Fitzpatrick to tee up the mini documentary that we have prepared for you.
Sound off, 1, 2, sound off, 3, 4, cadence count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ain't no use in going home, Shorty's got your gal and gone. Ain't no use in feeling blue, Shorty's got your sister too. Sound off, 1, 2, sound off, 3, 4, cadence count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
For nearly 250 years, Hispanic and Latino Americans were not just witnesses to America's history. They forged it. From the first battles for independence to the latest deployments, their courage and sacrifice have always been essential and undeniable.
Throughout America's history, Hispanic and Latino veterans have stood in the shadows of glory, steadfast in duty, courageous in battle, and too often unseen. From the fight for independence to today's conflicts, they carried sacrifice with quiet strength. Though history has not always spoken their names, their service has shaped our freedom. This is their story, one of resilience, pride, and unwavering commitment to the nation they call home.
From the American Revolution to the Civil War, Hispanic and Latino patriots stood with honor. Jorge Farragut fought for independence in the Revolutionary War. In the Civil War, Juan Ortega, one of the first Hispanic officers, served with distinction. Though their sacrifices shaped the nation, their names and countless others were too often erased from history. Their service left in the shadows of glory. Several thousand Hispanic volunteers, mostly from the Southwest, fought with distinction in the U.S. Army during the Spanish-American War in 1898. The Rough Riders were cowboys, college men, adventurers. Hispanic soldiers whose skill and courage shaped history. From New Mexico's deserts to Texas and Arizona, they rode, scouted, and fought with distinction. In Cuba, at Las Casimas and San Juan Hill, they endured smoke, fire, and hardship, showing fierce resolve. Captain Maximiliano Luna and others comprised a portion of the famous 1st U.S. Volunteer Cavalry, better known as the Rough Riders. From the Boxer Rebellion to the trenches of World War I and the battlefields of World War II, Hispanic and Latino service members proved their valor. Franz Silva, a U.S. Marine in China, became the first Hispanic Medal of Honor recipient. Hispanic and Latino Americans have played crucial roles in the U.S. military across World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and beyond, showing both bravery and resilience despite facing discrimination and lack of recognition. During World War I, Hispanic soldiers answered the call to serve. Many faced linguistic and social barriers within military life and struggled against discrimination. Their participation marked an important step in their ongoing fight for equal rights within American society. Between 400,000 and 500,000, Hispanic Americans served in World War II, accounting for roughly 3% of all U.S. armed forces at the time. Their service spanned every major battle, from Europe to the Pacific, and included units like the 65th Infantry Regiment, mainly Puerto Rican soldiers, and the 158th Infantry Regiment, the Bushmasters, praised in the Pacific Theater. The Korean conflict again saw Hispanic and Latin Americans serve valiantly, with over 180,000 soldiers estimated to have participated, predominantly of Mexican and Puerto Rican heritage. The Borinqueneers saw extensive action and became a symbol of Hispanic bravery and sacrifice. In the Vietnam War, Latinos and Hispanics made up 10% of the U.S. population, but nearly 20% of casualties, leading to activism like the Chicano Moratorium, protesting disproportionate losses and fighting for civil rights. Hispanic and Latin contributions across these conflicts not only shaped U.S. military history, but also played a transformative role in the pursuit of equality and recognition within American society. In March of 1944, the Women's Army Corps conducted a recruiting campaign for Latin American girls and women for the U.S. Army's AIRWAC. Hispanic and Latin women have served the U.S. military with distinction, breaking barriers and exemplifying dedication across all branches. They have done so from World War II, when women like Carmen Contreras Bozak became the first Hispanic American to serve in the Women's Army Corps, helping with communications and cryptology. Rose Franco, born in Puerto Rico in 1934, broke barriers as the first Hispanic woman, Chief Warrant Officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. Linda Garcia Cubero, of Mexican and Puerto Rican descent, made history in 1980 as the first Hispanic woman to graduate from any U.S. service academy when she graduated from the United States Air Force Academy, a part of the inaugural class of women admitted after legislation allowed female entry in 1976. In 1981, Annapolis saw its first Hispanic American females to graduate. They include Lilia Ramirez, Carmen Gilliland, Trinoria Pinto, and Ina Gomez. Hispanic and Latin women have served the U.S. military with distinction, breaking barriers and exemplifying dedication across all branches. They have done so from World War II to the Coast Guard's Latina SPAs, who took on vital roles during the war. Their contributions have been pivotal. Hispanic and Latin women have faced and overcome discrimination, gender bias, and societal challenges. Their service spans from major conflicts to peacekeeping missions, with many continuing to serve.
Their service doesn't stop at discharge. They mentor youth, stand up for justice, and carry the moral weight of patriotism into civilian life. These veterans carry stories passed down through generations of courage, identity, and sacrifice. We must hear them. We must honor them. They are not footnotes. They are the foundation. Their sacrifice is stitched into the flag. Their stories are not new. It's time we finally see them.
All right. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you very much. And so now we're going to transition into the storytelling portion of our event today. And I just want to give you, I guess, a little context for why we're doing storytelling. Last year, when we did this, it had more of an academic feel where there were panelists and there were moderated questions. But in the climate that we are facing today, with so much erasure of people's history, people's truth, I thought it was important to preserve truth and history. And to one way to do that, I felt, was by hearing from folks who have lived experience. So, lived experience as policy expertise, but lived experience also as history, so we can preserve some history for those who are coming behind us. And today's storytelling will be brought to you by a variety of veterans. One of the veterans is not able to join us today. They have an emergency, but we will still move forward with who we have and what we have got. And so the suggested storytelling order moves this way. We'll first hear the story by a Marine veteran titled Legacy in Uniform: One Story, Many Generations. And then we will move to Born to Serve: Latine Veterans Speak Truth in 360 Seconds. That is coming to us from an Army veteran. We then move into Echoes in Camo: Our Culture, Our Courage, Our Contribution. That also comes to us from an Army veteran. And then we have Rhythms of Service: From Bamba to Boots, coming to us, I believe, from a Marine Corps veteran. And then we move into Somos Soldados, a 6-minute salute to Latin valor, coming to us, I think, from an Air Force veteran. We were supposed to hear from a Marine Corps veteran, Latin and Unapologetically Armed. And I'm going to ask that individual to still record their story and share it, because I think it is important to capture. And then we will be wrapped up with We Were Always There, a Heritage of Honor, also by a Marine veteran. And so the order that I have constructed this in is intended to give us a sequence that moves us from family and history to identity, culture, rhythm, valor, unapologetic strength, and finally, enduring heritage. So, having laid that foundation, I now call to the stage Eddie Torres to give us his story, Legacy in Uniform: One Story, Many Generations.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, is my camera on?
No, it's not.
1 second. Don't know why. I apologize for the technical difficulties. The camera is on my side.
All right, well, let's hear your story.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eddie Torres, Marine Corps veteran. I was not the first in my family to wear the uniform, and I won't be the last. Service runs in our blood. My older brothers have served in the Marine Corps, and their dedication inspired me to follow in their footsteps. From a young age, I saw how dedication and sacrifice shape lives. Service is a tradition passed down through generations, a way we honor our roots and give back to the country that has given us so much. In my culture, family and duty are everything. I remember growing up hearing stories of hard work, sacrifice, and resilience from my parents. They instilled in me the values of honesty, dedication, and patriotism. These stories inspired me to serve, to carry on the legacy of those who came before us. Basic training was a shock, challenging both physically and mentally, but it was also a moment of pride. I found strength in pushing beyond my limits, knowing that I was representing my family and my community. Every obstacle became a testament to determination and my commitment to serve. I am first generation American. My parents are from the Dominican Republic. My two brothers and I chose to join the Marine Corps to serve our country. We're proud patriots, eager to give back for all the benefits we've received as Americans. My parents instilled in us the values of hard work, honesty, and family, values that guided every step I took in uniform. I felt like I was carrying the legacy of those who came before me, proud to honor my roots through service. There was a moment when I nearly left it all behind, when doubt and fatigue threatened to pull me away. But remembering who I was, where I came from, and the sacrifices of my family kept me grounded. Their strength and resilience fueled me to resolve to keep going. Today, I share my experience with younger generations. I want them to know that service isn't only about wearing the uniform and what that brings. It's about leading with integrity, guiding others, and strengthening our communities. It's about leaving a lasting impact, building a legacy through mentorship, compassion, and dedication that inspires those who follow in our footsteps. My story is just one of many, but through it, I honor every generation that came before me and paved the way for those to come. Service is our legacy, one that connects us across generations and unites us as Americans. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Eddie. We appreciate you. So next, we're going to call to the stage Born to Serve, Latino Veterans Speak Truth in 360 Seconds by Hector Rivera.
Morning, Dr. Branch. Can everybody hear me? I know I was having computer difficulties earlier.
We can hear you.
Okay, because I believe I'm running into the same problem earlier that my camera. So apologies about that. So got to be Tuesday morning. But in any case, I'm just going to do the same and have Cameron just pretty much tell us everything. First off, I wanted to thank Dr. Branch and everybody else here to make this possible. I really do appreciate coming back. This is the second time. And I wanted to say thank you and appreciate all the brothers and sisters that have served, that put themselves on the line, being outside the wire, supporting and everything else in what you do. So I appreciate all of that. As far as for me is concerned, I did not come from a military family background, although at least my immediate family and all, but I do understand that other family members have served. But as far as being of service, I know from a young age, I started off wanting to serve my community in the best way possible and all. And it started off in the city, working in the Bronx, helping kids as a youth counselor and all. And I was really drawn to helping others in regards to bettering our community, bettering myself in regards to it. I do know that it's not a very easy thing, especially coming from a low income family, to try to help out when you're trying to help other things. But it was something that was near and dear to my heart, if you will. And during that time, I come across so many people in the Latin community that would talk about their years of service as well as how they became of service. And it was really something that I took into consideration, but really never thought serious about it until a friend approached me at one point in time and asked me if I ever thought about joining service. And all. So later on down the road, found out that he joined, and as we talked more and more as far as what our future plans and goals were concerned, he thought it would be a great idea that I would join and continue on my service as well. And fortunately enough, I took up the challenge and decided to join the Army back in 89, 90, around that time frame, and served inside a system that really had no idea. So it was kind of like baptism by fire for me and all. So eventually I went around the world and back again when it came to it, and noticed the difference in regards to what we may have sometimes take for granted in what we do and who we are. And what I mean by that is that when you go to other places around the world, you see that many people don't have a lot, if you will, in terms of money, in terms of services, in terms of, and it just made me feel that much more prouder of who we are and where we come from and what the contributions I displayed, and I could help out in regards to it. So it turned out to be much larger commitment, if you will, later on down the road. And as time grew on, I had a break in service, and during the time I was actually going to college and all. The bottom line turned out that 9/11 happened during that time, and luckily for me that I was around there during that time and all. But once we got the all clear, I saw all the service members that were helping out for with the National Guard and the as well as paramilitary organization, and I decided at that point in time that I was going to lace up my boots one more time and join the National Guard. And pretty much from there, I helped out as best as possible. I became a recruiter during that time, and when that happened, I was able not only to help out my community as well as the everybody in New York to get back on their feet. I was able to help others find their way in serving as well. So it was a double-edged sword, if you will, in regards to being of service as well as providing service and guiding those people, in other words, to actually find the way that they can best serve. So it was something that was something that I felt and very much attached to. And it's not always just in serving, but in regards to yourself, but it's serving other people's as well as serving our Lord and Savior, if you will, for that and all. And it's that service that provides for all others to be able to follow along and help one another out. And in the Latin community, it's especially where we need that to show others so that we can be that shining example and role a model for those that I believe that it's been much more on a professional as well as reflective level that I can actually say that, I'm able to participate with a community that's much larger than itself and be able to provide that service for God and country. So that's pretty much it on my part.
Thank you so much, Hector. We certainly appreciate you. And what I would like for those who are attendees, please, if you have any questions for the storytellers, put them in the chat. And we welcome you to participate in what I like to call a chatterfall. So whatever inspiration you're drawing from the stories and from the program, just drop those words in the chat. So it becomes a chatterfall in rapid succession. Again, thank you, Hector. We appreciate you. And so we're moving on now to Echoes in Camo, Our Culture, Our Courage, Our Contribution from Army veteran Doris Takuri. Doris, are you on with us today? All right, I'm not seeing her. Lisa, if you can, okay. Lisa, are you able to unmute Doris and move her to a panelist? And in the meantime, while we work on getting Doris situated, we're going to skip and move to Rhythms of Service from Bamba to Boots by our Fearless Women's Veterans Coordinator, Osias Rosie Batista. So Rosie, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos días a todos. ¿Cómo están? Espero que todos estén bien. I hope everyone is doing well. Here we go. There's a rhythm to service. Mine started long before basic training with the drums of merengue, bachata, merengue típico, and the clapping during family gatherings in NYC. Music and movement were how we express joy and grief, how we remember their past. Music and movement are powerful, universal languages that help us process and communicate. The tempo and the beat of the music can evoke corresponding bodily responses. The different beats and rhythms trigger high optimism and uplifted moods, where the slower tempos and the emotion of the music can mirror sadness. Listening to music-inspired movements, swaying of the hips and body to making you feel joy or grief. Boot camp was a different rhythm, but I found the beat. I marched to it, I led to it. The cadence and rhythm held different sentiments in the military as my cultural music helped me synchronize steps, breathe, and move in unison. This new type of music helped me with the posture, cohesion, morale, and unit identity. I just did it with a twist. Not everything was smooth, there were stumbles, but like in dance, you adjust, recover, keep moving. This new beat had me feeling tradition and pride, similar to my Dominican roots, but now in a military level. The marches were similar to dancing merengue, bachata, típico, and even salsa. The drum from cadences in Hispanic music conveys similar sentiments. They convey commands, warnings. Music as a morale and training aid will help to motivate. Today, the military adapts musical selections to be inclusive and respectful of all service members' backgrounds. In every hardship, I learned on what I knew, my rhythm, my community, my ancestors. Music and dance are intertwined phenomena that use rhythm as a foundation to build, unite, and strengthen communities by connecting individuals to their shared histories and ancestors. This correlation is evident across cultures and history, from ancient rituals to modern social gatherings. Connecting with ancestors, music and dance are essential for passing down cultural memory and connecting communities to their ancestral heritage. Now my life is a blend of both tradition and discipline, culture and country. From bomba to boots, my rhythm never stopped, it just evolved. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate you, Rosie. Thank you so very much.
Of course.
All right, and we are going to now move to Somos Soldados, a 6-minute salute to Latino veterans by Alejandro Aguirre.
Hey, how's it going? I'm just getting ready to share something, so give me 1 sec for it to load. All right. You guys all hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is the presentation up and looking good?
I can see it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Yeah, my name's Master Sergeant Alejandro Aguirre. So I'm a U.S. Army Special Forces Operations Sergeant, U.S. Green Beret. So I've been in the military for over 19 years. I've been in SF for about 16, 17 of those years. So pretty extensive career. So let's get started. So one of the things I'm going to talk about today is obviously Latin valor, but not just from a perspective that's military, but kind of combined with, you know, your civilian and your family upbringing, right? So what is valor? So strength of mind, spirit that enables a person to encounter danger with firmness and personal bravery. So a lot of this is dependent upon perspective and what we go through, right? But a lot of times, a lot of this is learned. Our ability to overcome and compensate with adversity, against adversity, is done through our family, right? So the ability to do put 138 pounds on your back, walk 27 miles, breaking trail, minimal sleep, and then turn around and wake up and dig trenches in the rain, you know, takes a lot of resolve, right? And so that's one of the things that we do in the Q course when we're actually going in to qualify to become a Green Beret, to get selected. But it doesn't start there, right? It comes from somewhere. And a lot of this is also a part of nature, but it's also nurtured through mentorship. So when I was young, my grandfather worked 35 years. He had over 3,000 hours of sick leave, and he didn't miss a day of high school, right? So he chose education over the family business, and because he didn't farm, he wasn't allowed to eat. Then he went into the service, saved up his money for college, the farm went under, and he gave his college money to save the farm, right? And so to me, this is a personal recollection of what valor is and courage in the face of adversity. It's not military, but it's civilian. But this is paving the way for my perspective as I push through at a young adult, right? My mother worked for 16 years at Burger King. No college, became a district manager of 20 stores without an education while raising me at the age of 16, right? So throughout those years, I was growing up, I was actually raised by my family, like my grandparents, my mom's sisters or brothers, and I played soccer, right? And so more often than not, yeah, I was somewhat discriminated against a little bit, held back, maybe not played because of my color, which my grandfather quickly addressed, and I got some playing time. But when I was young, and even now to this day, I don't really see it quite like that. My perspective on it is, although insults come, is to take that and use it, right? Because at the end of the day, if I perform better than they are, if I'm above them, right, in all aspects, they can't say nothing. They have nothing to say to me. And so as a result, I was the first person in my family to go to college. I was a 2-year captain in college. And then shortly after, I decided to go into the Postal Service. And from there, I was looking at my options and I was like, well, what do I want to do? And so I saw this idea of becoming a Green Beret, 12-man team, kind of similar to a soccer team, and the ability to help people, the ability to go out there and experience things and speak different languages, interact with cultures and teach them and educate them, right? A big part of leadership. And so I headed out my way. Well, one of the things about being an SF and a Green Beret is pushing yourself to the limits, right? So I've had numerous encounters over in Afghanistan and Iraq, you know, whether it's a 14-vet convoy, IED, followed up by an ambush, Humvee gets turned over, you have 5 casualties, overturned vehicle, and lo and behold, someone's got to treat the casualties, right? And so that's one of those things where, when we start talking about valor in its essence, it's formulated on the idea of kind of focusing on what you can actually handle. If you focus on the big picture, guess what? You get overwhelmed. But if you focus on a small task and you keep accomplishing small tasks, your awareness starts to expand. And so I've kind of thrown in some photographs of some of the selection processes of what I do outside. So this was a current deployment in Iraq, training their counterterrorism service. But again, a lot of this is built into the military. It's how we train, it's how we build them, it's how we educate them, and it's a bag of mixed emotions and a whole lot of camaraderie. And I'll get into this camaraderie aspect. So again, one of the big things I also think about valor, and especially with the Latino tradition, is family, right? And the ability to kind of put yourself into someone else's shoes and, develop a relationship and, put them first, self-sacrifice, right? And so that's kind of what you do. That's kind of how you operate, right? When you're not worried about yourself, it's pretty easy to do valorous and courageous things, especially if you do it every day. And so all those experiences that I talked about, you don't see them. I'm not visually wearing them through a coat, right? I'm not visually wearing them through a uniform, right? We don't wear our experiences, right? You have to earn it every day. And so each day when I wake up in the morning, right, I have a reputation to uphold, right? Not just the military, but my family name, Alejandro Aguirre. right? And so this is one of those things. And so I've incorporated this picture because I went through the new school. I was a MFA in photography, gave up a 17-year postal career to go do it, right? So I just grabbed everything and left and went to go to college, right? At 40 years old. Pretty difficult, right? But within that, I started to kind of like realign like my identity with the military, the civilian, and art, and how to project that, and kind of looking back at the past and kind of confronting myself, because this is one of those things where when you start to get into very heavy situations with danger, threats, life's on the line, right? It comes down to consistency and focus, right? Because under periods of distress, we resort to our most basic instinct. And so that's why in the military, we train consistently, right? And it's that work ethic that my father had, that my mother had, right? That they instilled in me at a young age that enabled me or amplified my own criteria of myself, which is why I'm currently a master sergeant in U.S. Special Forces. All right. So again, I also do a little bit of psychology, and so a lot of my things is again, competency, understanding the tasks, being confident in your ability to perform a task, right? So when things go wrong, you have this ability, right, to fall back and slowly build your experience up. And so when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, like the ability to take on 5 casualties, right? Grab their grab everybody that's needed, pull the casualties inside, get their casualty collection cards, annotate all their documentation, send it up to a radio, right? Start doing trauma management, and then start preparing for the evacuation and triage of the patients. It's a big deal, right? And so a lot of that comes down to, like I said earlier, these small tasks. Again, I'm kind of throwing a lot out at you guys because I wanted this to be kind of comprehensive and a little bit more than just to kind of show you like my process and how I view things. But again, there's a physiology behind it, right? And so, but it's also tied and nested within our ability, right, to slow things down and focus on what we can control. Okay. And I learned that through sports, right? I also learned that through my father, who's again Hispanic, and 35 years of service, or 35 years in the Department of Corrections, right? Understanding how to handle himself, understanding how to talk to people, continually trying to be better. Those are things that amplify what I do on the ground that makes me more competent. So again, the world is bigger than you are. And when you understand that, it becomes easier to understand what it takes to be successful. And so here's just a quick little story. My time in Afghanistan. And I think the reason why I kind of threw this in here is because, let's face it, like a lot of times we focus on the negative, right? But in order to have that purpose, it's not all about negative, right? There are things out there that are very positive that we hold on to, whether it's, homemade breakfast, right? Whether it's your grandfather going to every single one of your games, or whether it's an Afghan woman, giving you bread after 14 hours of patrolling. And at the end of the day, that piece of bread, or those 16 pieces of bread, are worth 3 to 4 days of food to them, right? And so understanding that empathy comes from family. So at the end of that, I'm just going to kind of digress. Like, I'm proud to be Hispanic. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of my family name. My name is Alejandro Aguirre, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. And I apologize. I thought I saw on the New School website that they had you as an Air Force veteran, but maybe I misread that. So definitely apologies to that. So now we're going to call up Doris Tukuri, who is going to talk to us from the topic echoes in camo, our culture, our courage, and our contribution. Doris, please come.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Doris Takuri. I served in the Army from 2006 to 2010 with one deployment to Iraq. Later, I continued my service in the Army Reserves from 2012 to 2014. I would like to start by saying that my Latino roots shaped me into the person I am today. Growing up, I remember my mother always saying, when you have a goal in mind, and if you want to accomplish, make sure that you're never giving up. And as a Latina in the armed forces, I felt a deep sense of responsibility, not to only prove my unit, but to prove myself that I could exceed those expectations. I remember when I started the 2-mile run and I was falling behind. I always remember the words that my mother used to say, do not give up. And that gave me the strength that I needed to finish the run. Volunteering to deploy to Iraq was one choice that changed my life. For me, it was about being part of something bigger and supporting my fellow service members. During my deployment, my team successfully transported essential supplies, and I was proud to see a lot of Latinos in leadership positions contributing to the mission. The driver was a Hispanic person. The electrician was someone that was Hispanic. The mechanic was a Hispanic. If I went to Sequel, there was a Hispanic person in there. And I would like to say that one of the particular moments in Iraq, or memorable at the time that I had, was the salsa night that they had. For me, it was like a special moment to share our culture with others. Although we were in a war zone, salsa night offered a special connection to home and transmitted a sense of happiness not only to us Latinos, but to all service members. Overall, I would like to say that our Latino community have been supporting the mission in many ways. And whatever we do and continue to do, we always do it with a lot of dedication, passion, and courage. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Doris. Thank you so very much. And we're going to have our final speaker. We Were Always There, A Heritage of Honor by Elena Ferguson. Elena?
Hi, Dr. Branch. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elena Ferguson. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, Afro-Latina, and I am going to reflect about my service in the Marines. Proud, commanding, reflective. We didn't just show up, we were always there. In every battle, every deployment, every corner of the globe where freedom was called, we answered. From the shores of Iwo Jima to the sands of Iraq, from the jungles of Vietnam to the skies above the world, we were there. And for me, that we isn't just the Marine Corps. It's the rhythm of my ancestors, the beat of the drums echoing through generations who refused to be invisible. Grounded, emotional, and rising. For too long, our stories were left out of history books. Our service overlooked, our names mispronounced, our flags missing from photos, but we served, we led, we sacrificed. We carried double the weight, the uniform and the identity, both being Black and Latina in a space that didn't always see either side clearly. I remember stepping on those yellow footprints at Parris Island, thinking of the generations before me who worked lands, raised families, and prayed for better days. During my service, I always carried them in my sea bag. When the world called me strong for joining the Marines, I always smiled because the world built me that way. Warm, proud, and personal. My family story is stitched with two flags, one of this nation and one of my heritage. They don't compete, they complement each other. They remind me that service is love in motion, love for where you come from and love for what you protect. Growing up, every meal I had was a reminder that resilience can be beautiful, that even in struggle, we season everything with pride. Strong, emotional, and proud. I'll never forget the day that I met my drill instructors, two women, both Afro-Latinas from the Bronx, standing tall in those campaign covers like monuments of discipline and pride. Sergeant Rodriguez and Staff Sergeant Byfield at the time, they spoke. The moment they spoke, their voices cut through the air of our squad bay of our 4th Battalion. Their voices were sharp, commanding, but familiar. Their accents carried the same rhythm of the people that I grew up with. Their presence told me that I wasn't alone. For the first time, I saw myself reflected in authority, in excellence, and in power. Every yes, ma'am wasn't just a respect, it was recognition. Because when they looked at me, I know they saw more than just a recruit. They saw a legacy that another Afro-Latina was ready to make history louder than ever before. Upbeat, vibrant, and confident. Our culture never got in the way of our service. It made us richer. It made us laugh louder, love harder, and fight smarter. Being Afro-Latina in the Marines meant showing up with edge, but grace, but also with a flavor that nobody could duplicate. It meant leading with empathy, but also speaking with a little bit of fire. We didn't always blend in, we stood out, and that was our strength. Triumphant, today I tell our story, not just mine, but ours, because visibility is victory. Visibility is victory. When our families see us in uniforms, I want them to know that this is their inheritance. When Marines speak Spanish in the barracks or wear every variation of their hair texture from curly to coarse, I want them to feel unstoppable. We are no longer whispers in archives or footnotes in margins. We are the headlines, we are the legacy. We were always there, and now the world will know it. This is heritage, this is honor, this isn't borrowed, it is ours. Born in strength for those who suffered, carried through battle, and still shining in every one of us who dares to serve and be seen. Thank you.
Amazing. That was fire. Thank you so much, Elena. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of our storytellers today. So, yes, now comes the part of the program where if any of the attendees have questions for the storytellers, please drop them in the chat. And also, I'd love to get a chatterful going of all of the stories that you have that have been told in your hearing. What are some of the inspirational phrases or words that evoked in you from hearing these stories? Let's see them show up in the chat through a chatterful. All right, so I'm going to start it off. All right, so here it is: fire, family, fortitude, diversity, strength. What else? What else do we have? All right, heritage, pride, legacy. Yes, resilience. Thank you. Thank you. Service is our legacy. Yes, patriotism. All right, so keep it coming. Respect, family, prior, sacrifice, refuse to go unnoticed. Right, we have gone from invisibility to visibility, right? We are here. We have always been here. Dedication. Thank you so very much. Family and sacrifice. Yes. Yes. Honor. Courage. Perseverance. Yes. Representation indeed matters. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. So let's keep it coming. All right. So, any questions for any of the presenters? And if I could also, I think we have some of DVS staff on hand. If you could put in the chat information about who DVS is, what it is that we do, how to contact us. If you are a state agency and would like to partner with us, have us do presentations for you, for veterans who might be in your agencies, or if there are organizations joining us today and you would like to have us come out and do benefits presentations. If you know folks who have served or family members that have young ones, we have Operation Baby, where we go across the state, providing resources for families with young children. We have Operation Baby, as I said before. If you have young ones who are in school, need school supplies, we have those as well. If you're a veteran and you don't have your Bombas socks, you need to reach out to us, because we have a partnership with Bombas Socks where we provide, where Bombas graciously has donated to New York State Department of Veteran Services, and we are able to, in turn, gift veterans with socks and foundation garments and such. All right, and so not to belabor the time, if I'm scrolling through, I don't see any questions. Uh, let's see. Thank you for putting that information in the chat. Will Smith, appreciate you. All right, so I'm going to wrap us up with some closing remarks. And so, reflection on the journey. So, what a powerful journey we've shared today. Each story reminds us that the service of Hispanic and Latino veterans is not just part of American history, it is American history. From the earliest battles of independence to today's deployments, their courage, sacrifice, and resilience have been constant, even when their names were forgotten or left off of the page. Acknowledging the storytellers. To our storytellers, thank you a million times over for continuing service and answering the call. You've done more than your share, your experiences. You've given your voice to generations. Your words, your memories, and your pride breathe life into the record. You remind us that representation is not a request, it is a right. That telling our stories is how we reclaim space and ensure that no one ever says, "We didn't know you were there." The power of heritage and identity. Hispanic heritage is a compass. All heritage is a compass. It guides us in service, in sacrifice, and in leadership. It reminds us that courage wears many faces, speaks many languages, and dances to many rhythms. Whether it's the pulse of bamba, the cadence of drill, or the quiet pride of a family watching from the crowd, our culture has always been the rhythm of our service, the continuing mission. So, as we leave this space, may we continue the mission, honoring those who came before us, uplifting those who serve beside us, and inspiring those who will follow. Let today not be a conclusion, but a call to action, to preserve, to educate, and to celebrate, because visibility is legacy, and legacy is power. Closing affirmation. So, to every veteran, every person who has served, every family member, every ally here today, thank you for keeping this story alive. Let us leave with pride in our voices and purpose in our hearts. Let us continue to tell the truth of our service and our strength. And let us always remember we were here, we are here, and we will always be here. It has been the honor of my day to be the expediter for this program. I'm Dr. Lessie Branch, everybody's favorite moderator. Till next time.